Today's video has been made possible by the EA Creator Network. This video contains footage from a product in development and is not reflective of the final product. Things like gameplay, content, tuning, assets and player ratings may differ in FIFA 23. What's going on, boys? NealGuides here. Welcome back to another video. Now in today's video I'm going to show you how to take the perfect penalty. Now it's actually harder than you think. Head movement is now in the game. There's no more time shooting anymore. There's now a reticle that basically doesn't exist, that you can't actually see where you're aiming, so you don't know where you're actually aiming in theory, but I'll show you how you can fix that. And then you now have a composure ring which dictates how you take your shot. There's a lot of things that actually implement into a penalty. In fact, you can see now that the ring doesn't really expand or contract and expand or shrinks as bad, but you can see in this clip over here that I overlaid, this is in the penalty shootout, this is the last penalty. You can see that ring is actually increasing in size and decreasing very quickly, which is going to make it harder for you to hit the green time area. But I'm going to show you how you can never ever miss, even if you hit it red. I'm going to show you a solution. So the first thing is, if I just pause it here, so that is when the green, that is, as you can see, the green halo is just around the ball. That is where you want to hit it perfectly as almost a green time shot. This is the perfect timing window, and you can get a good shot here with accuracy and power if you time it perfectly. In contrast, as you can see here when it's red, you basically get the opposite of that. So if I freeze it here when it's red, you get the opposite of that. Now you can still score. You can actually score quite consistently if you got a good player with it being red timed as well. So if you do miss it, don't panic. But you ideally want to sort this out properly, because if you try to aim, the problem is that your opponent, as you can see in Mbappe's head movement still exists in the game. But don't worry, I'm going to show you how you can get past that, because aim is now fixed. So you can see if you aim to the right hand side and you let go, it doesn't snap to the middle anymore. But you can see Mbappe's head is facing to the right hand side. You see that? So even if I just apply the perfect amount of power, my opponent will know where I'm going most of the time. But I'll fix that. So how it works is, firstly, the aim. So how does the aim itself work? Now, before you had a little reticle that you move, there's no longer a reticle. And basically the aim is fixed. So if I move my left analog stick to the left-hand side, and then I just shoot without moving the left analog stick after, I'm going to take a shot to the left-hand side. If, for example, I aim to the right-hand side, then I let go, then I aim back to the left-hand side again, and I take a shot, the ball will go to the left. So basically, wherever you move your left analog stick, it's going to fixate into that position. Okay, that's the first thing. Okay, so the question is, well, can you miss the target? Well, what it is that the aim by default is set 3 feet within the post, and the aim is fixed. In theory, if you hit it a green time shot, you can't really miss. Most of the time, I would say 9 out of 10 times, the way I've discovered it is you can get it on target as long as you don't use maximum power. As a general rule of thumb, if you can keep it under 9/10, which is quite hard, but if you keep it under 9/10, you can hit it very accurate, as you can see like this, and there's a very low chance of you actually getting it outside. But you go beyond that, like you can see, like I'm going to do a maximum power, perfect green time shot, or almost perfect. You can see there's a chance you can miss. So in theory, you can actually get the ball outside the net. If you go for full power and you go complete crazy amount of full power, you can miss. But with red, don't panic. Don't think, okay, do I just have to hit it green? Let's say you got a delay or whatever, you have a red or orange. You can see it's the exact same thing. So it's not do or die if you do hit it in those zones. So the question is, well, how do you perfect it? Now, the first thing you need to note is the player itself. This is more important than ever before. The composure ring, how it expands and shrinks in size, that depends on the composure stat. So the better the composure stat you have, the better or the larger area you'll have to hit a green time shot, as you can see in this example where I did it with Salah in this example. The penalty attribute impacts the quality of the shot placement. So the better penalty attribute you have, the better chance you have of getting it like right into the corner, getting that better placement. And then the shot power attribute impacts the shot power and how far of the sides are net. So for example, if you have better shot power, you've got a higher chance of it reaching into the sides of net. So you can see if I go to the top right, if I combine that with a high powered shot, there's a higher chance of reaching it into the side of the net and a lower chance of the goalkeeper actually saving it. For example, like here, you can get it right there in a corner. So the problem is now head movement. So if you're in a game, okay, Neil, you told me all this. I know what you have to do now. You hit it green. Just don't hit it full power, and you're basically going to get it on target. But what if you're inside a game? Can your opponent read the head movement? Well, they can. That is the only downside. They can act. So if you move, as I said, the left hand long stick to the right hand side, look, Mbappe's head goes that way. Even if I decide to change, his head movement is still there, because there is actually a technique where you can get this in the top bins consistently. Look, if I move, as you can see, my left analog stick up, now I'm moving it, in theory the reticle is like above Courtois' head, okay? Then I move the left analog stick to like the top left. So now the reticle has gone like, for example, like here and somewhere around here. If I can hit it green powered shot, I can get that into the corner. So you're going to see like this, go all the way up, like that, to the top left. Now in theory, if I hit it with green time shot, I can get it, for example, very much into the corner, which makes it unsavable. So the question is, how do you avoid the head movement? Now it's kind of the same what you did last year. Is to take a shot and then change the aim after you've run up, because this way you limit it, because you can, for example, look left and right, but your opponent knows what you're doing. So if you just take your shot and then while you're running up and then you move it, you can change. In fact, you actually got quite a lot of time. You could run up, aim to the right, and then, for example, aim all the way to the left, and you'll have time to change. So you do have that time. Now you're probably wondering, what are the different styles of penalties, the Panenka, the finesse shots? Now finesse shots, they actually work pretty well. I would say finesse shots are really good if you've got like a right footer and you want to get it into the bottom left or to the bottom right. If you want to do that, I think a finesse shot is perfect to use. So just getting it basically in the corners, then I think a finesse shot is really good to use. But to be honest, I would still go for a power shot, because with a power shot you can get it basically into the corner past the goalkeeper's grasp. So I would say, to be honest, I really wouldn't bother too much with a finesse shot. You can use it if you want to, and likewise you can use it to get a finesse shot on the top right, which is kind of a bit better. It's a bit hard, but sometimes you can get those perfect angles in the top right corner, and it does look pretty satisfying, but I prefer the speed on the ball. You can also do a chip shot. So you can see here, you can go ahead and do a chip shot. Now the question you're going to ask me is, can you do that chip shot like you remember last year and get it into the corners over here? Well, yes, technically you can. So the way that I do is move the left analog stick up and then all the way to the left, kind of like moving it towards 11 o'clock. And then you just want to get it just before maximum power, and you can get it in the top bins. And the goalkeeper, can he save it? Yes and no. If opponent knows what he's doing, he can probably save it by stepping first, then diving. But if you get the power on it and you get the power perfectly, you could basically avoid your opponent from saving it. But again, if you go too much, it's quite risky. You could go over. But basically, long story short, if you can get at the exact moment, green time, and you go with high power and you don't go too much, you can actually get it in the top. You see that? And the goalkeeper, even if he dives that way, he can't get it. So I'm just going to try to show you, if I get one example of the goalkeeper diving. Hopefully he dives the correct way. He didn't, but try it yourself when the game comes out. You can't basically get it perfectly every single time, but if you get enough power, it still dinks over the goalkeeper. But anyway, that is the penalty tutorial. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. Take it easy, and of course, I'll catch you next time. Peace out.